Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing episode 2 of my story titled Labor's Raw Reality. This is not just a story about childbirth, it is a story about pain, about fear, about prayer, about endurance, and the strength that comes out of suffering. I want to take you through the day exactly as I lived it, because some experience change you forever, and labor was one of those moments for me. Everything started with malaria. It came on so suddenly and so strongly that it felt like my body was under attack. I was already heavily pregnant, and the fever made me feel weak, hot, and exhausted. It was on the 8th of September. My body was aching, my head was spinning, and I could hardly think straight. I remember feeling like I had no strength left, yet life still expected me to keep going. That was the first shock before labor even began. At the same time, I was caring for my little daughter, who was only 14 months old. She had just stopped breastfeeding a few months earlier, so my body was still adjusting to that change. I was carrying one child inside me and still mothering another child outside me. There is a kind of tiredness that is hard to explain unless you have lived it. My days were full, my body was stretched, and my heart was constantly busy. Then the fever was intense, the chills were so strong that my whole body shook, and I felt pain in my muscles and joints from head to toe. I kept reaching for strength in prayer because at that moment the prayer was all I had to hold on to. I kept whispering, Mary, help me through this. Sometimes when the body suffers, then the spirit becomes the only part of you that can still stand. That was how I made it through these first hours. Then my husband, my lovely husband, became my rock that day. He was calm, he was caring, and very present. Even while he was working, he was checking me online. When he came home late, he bought ginger for tea. He rubbed my back gently, checked my temperature, and kept encouraging me to rest. He also played with our daughter so I could lie down for a while. In that moment, his laugh was not loud. The laugh was not loud, but it was very powerful. It reminded me that even in pain, you do not have to walk alone. The next morning, that was the 9th of September, began like a normal day, but deep inside my body, something was changing. I felt low rumbles in my belly, like thunder far away. At first, I thought maybe it was only the fever or the baby moving, so I did not panic. I tried to rest and keep calm, telling myself to wait and watch, but labor has its own way of announcing itself. And it starts quietly before it goes into something impossible to ignore. By evening, the pains had become more obvious. They started as small tight squeezes low in my tummy and hips, then came again and again, each time stronger than before. I stood up, I sat down, I walked around, and I tried everything I could think of to see if they could go away. They did not go away. Instead, they came closer together and more intense. That was when I began to understand that this was no longer just discomfort, but labor had truly begun. As night fell, sleep became impossible. The pains turned into heavy waves that made me grab the chair, I grabbed the wall, or anything close enough to hold on to. My body felt hot again, sweaty and restless, and even contractions seemed to take away a little more of my breath. Then it hit 2 a.m. My little girl woke up crying, and I had to hold her while another wave of pain hit me. That moment was so hard because I was still a mother in the middle of labor. I sang her a soft lullaby, but my voice was shaking. The night felt endless. At 4 a.m., I knew I could not wait any longer. The pains were now coming every 3 minutes, and they were fast too strong and too close together. I got out of bed and went straight to the bathroom, hoping the shower might help. I turned on the hot water, and for a few seconds it felt soothing, like a warm blanket against my feet. But then another contraction came, and I bent over in pain. That was the real wake-up call. I called my husband and told him, Babes, it is time. The baby is really coming. Then my husband jumped up immediately. He did not waste time panicking. He grabbed his phone and called the doctor at our clinic while it was still dark outside. The doctor told us to keep watching the pains and come in by 8 a.m. Imagine. It felt like a very long wait because I was already hurting so much. But there was nothing else to do except prepare. We packed our things, we put the things in the car. Then my husband tried to make me smile by saying I could read my papers later when I was resting. So he also packed my laptop. He put my laptop in the car. In a moment like that, even small words of comfort matter deeply. Then we woke our daughter gently and dressed her before our helper arrived. Everything was happening so fast now, and at the same time, it felt painfully slow. I kept breathing through the contractions as we moved around the house. I remember holding my belly and trying to stay focused, telling myself to take one step then another. Leaving home in labor is never easy, especially when you know the journey ahead is going to test you. So the drive to the clinic was one of the hardest parts. We were in our Isuzu truck, and every pothole on those roads felt like a blow straight through my body. My husband drove so carefully, trying to avoid every bump, but the road was rough and the pain was real. I held on tightly and breathed through each contraction while tears mixed with the sweat on my face. Cars were hooting behind us, but nothing mattered except making it to the clinic safely. When labor is strong, even a short drive can feel like a journey through fire. We arrived at the clinic at exactly 7:46 a.m. A nurse came out quickly and helped me inside. She checked me and said I was already 6 centimeters open. That news told me everything I needed to know. Remember, this was not my first labor. This baby was coming soon. I was tired, afraid, and in so much pain, but also felt a strange sense of relief because the waiting was finally over. We were in the right place, and the next stage had begun. Inside the bathroom, everything became intense. The pain was fierce, almost overwhelming, and I had to push with every bit of strength left in my body. The nurses encouraged me, and I followed their voices through the pain. Then at 18 past 8, on the 10th of September, my baby boy was born. That moment is hard to describe because it held both pain and victory at the same time. 1 second, I was crying out in labor, and the next, I was holding my son and hearing his strong cry. When they placed him on my chest, I felt something deep and unforgettable. My husband was also there in the bathroom and was also the second person to hold my baby after I held him. He was warm on my chest. He was tiny and real, and all the suffering suddenly had meaning. He cried loudly, and I cried too, but mine were tears of joy and relief. My husband's eyes were wet, and the nurses were smiling and celebrating with us. In that moment, I knew that the journey had been hard, but the reward was beautiful. My son had arrived safely, and my heart was full. Later that same day, we were discharged and went home. It felt almost unreal to leave the clinic so soon after everything we had been through, but it was also a blessing. Our daughter met her baby brother, and that moment made our family feel complete. Watching her look at him with curiosity and wonder was one of the sweetest parts of the whole story. The house that had been full of fear only hours earlier now felt full of love. Labor was very painful. It was raw, frightening, and exhausting, but it also showed me what strength really looks like. It taught me that a woman can carry pain, fear, prayer, love, and courage all at once. It taught me that a woman can carry pain, fear, and a lot of things all at once. Labor did not break me, it built me, and it gave me my son, which is a gift I'll never forget. Labor's raw reality did not break me, it built me like steel, one sharp pain at a time, one brave push, one perfect baby boy as reward forever. Thank you for watching this episode of my story. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for the next episode. Thank you.